Jeff, good to have you over today. It seems like a perfect time to have this conversation. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
So let's just get into it. This is the first of this year's interviews for 2023 of the Current of Currencies. Super happy to have you on. And why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
My name is Jeff Achey. I'm owner of Up2SpeedCrypto.com. So I basically teach people how to navigate the cryptocurrency space one-on-one. Whatever your skill set is, we pick up from there and move forward.
Awesome. And it couldn't be a more perfect time with the rise of digital currencies over the last decade for someone like yourself to be in this market. And that's exactly why I wanted to have you on, especially with it being such a volatile period right now. So I gotta ask, just to begin with, before we get anything into crypto-wise, who are you? I'd like to give my guests a little background on the person before the company, you know?
I am born and raised in South Jersey, Burlington County. Been working for the state of New Jersey for 22 years. I got into the crypto space in 2017.
Great time to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of bought the top and wrote it down. But yeah, I mean, I never left. Still here, so.
That's what matters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some good lessons that were learned in that first bull run.
So you're more of
you're
more of a hodler. We've had this discussion before.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I tend to advise people to do. I'm not a financial advisor at all, but
neither of us are.
but yeah, I tend to advise people to invest in technologies that are set to change the world and disrupt, regular financial systems.
That's definitely where it seems this world is going. So tell us a little bit about Up to Speed and what you're trying to accomplish long term with this. How long have you held the LLC?
2 years.
Awesome.
So yeah, March of 01. Of 21.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so what's your customer base like? Like, what do you enjoy participating in with your client base? Do you have more beginner customers, medium, advanced?
Everything, but for the most part, a lot of beginners. So, and it's very diverse. It could grandmothers, people younger. It's anybody.
A lot of people that get got rung into it by their family members.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then people don't have time to sit by their side, family members to show them all the time, or they might need a refresher or something like that, or just reassurance. A lot of times, people don't want to be moving large amounts of funds. If people are investing and having it on Coinbase or some major
exchange or DeFi platform.
Exactly, and I try to teach people to self-custody and hardware wallets. And that's a scary thing when you're moving, any kind of funds, really. But, I mean, especially if you start to build some sort of portfolio, and
I couldn't agree more, and that's one reason of why I started the Current of Currencies. Just seeing how much of a need there is for professionals like ourselves that are kind of detached from the centralized finance aspect, but still real big power players in what we're trying to accomplish with the technology side of it. People like us for a lot of people, are just a savior in a lot of senses. And we're going to talk a little bit today about just all of the experiences and how that's happened over the last few years alone. But self-custody, one of the major things that
can't stress it enough.
Yeah, and with the fallout of FTX and now Silicon Valley Bank, that principle couldn't be any more stronger in our vocabulary.
Absolutely.
Really.
And that's what crypto is all based off of, self-custody, and that's the only reason to really have it to begin with, is to be your own bank.
So why perfect segue. Why self-custody and decentralized banking for you over the traditional finance system?
Because you control it. It's all in your hands. So it could be peer-to-peer. It could be whatever you want it to be. it's really a matter of I mean, it comes with a lot of responsibility, like having your keys and knowing how to protect your keys, protect yourself from, the dangers that are out there with, being your own bank. Because I mean, knocking off a bank has been one of the biggest things for many years, and then it puts you in a risk that you normally wouldn't have had. So
I would agree with you. I like the aspect more of me being accountable for my own materials rather than letting a third party be the executor and executioner at the end of the day sometimes.
Yeah. They can't just tell you, that it's gone.
Absolutely.
Like it's happening right now.
So for our less involved people with the crypto space, why don't you explain to them a little bit about how self-custody works in different ways that you can establish that for yourself? So, like, if you're with any of them, whether it's a software wallet or a hardware wallet, it'll be a seed phrase, which is 12 or 24 words that you write down, and those are what unlock your funds. So you don't need the same exact. So your coins aren't actually stored on the hardware wallet. So if you lose that or anything, you always have that key. In fact, you can actually even break the hardware wallet and still regenerate it through that seed phrase. Yes, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't. You can go from Ledger and then import that to Trezor, or you can import that. You can start with the Ledger and then you can just import that to a software wallet. So you can access it anywhere. So if the company goes out of business, it still doesn't matter. It's all still there. So let's take one more step back and with Ledger technology, why don't you just explain what a general hardware ledger is? So it's just a device, real simple, that you basically unlock, and then you have different apps on there, and then you choose whatever app that you're running per blockchain. So it would be Ethereum or Cardano or Bitcoin. You select that, and then you'll be able to generate a transaction or sign a transaction with that. So it's another step for here we go. And it looks just like that. Yep. Yeah, so it's an extra step whenever you're doing anything. So you have to sign the transaction with this physical device. So if you don't have this physical device, it won't. If your coins are set up on this, you won't be able to do anything. So like if your computer was hacked or anything, any kind of malware, anything that malicious activity on your device, they can't do anything with it if it's on the hardware, because you need to physically sign it with that device plugged into the computer. And for people that are looking for a hardware wallet, I would go with a Ledger, which is the device that you're looking at right here, or a Trezor. Those are two top hardware wallets that have established themselves within the crypto space. And I suggest, if you don't have a hardware wallet, go get one. Software wallets are nice, but they're still extremely unfortified for security reasons, long-term storage-wise. Yeah. So, let's move a little bit into security in that sense, and the, lack of security a lot of these exchanges have. So I kind of want to go back to the beginning of the year and cover the FTX scandal that happened, and what's your thoughts on that? Because now we're going into a whole different crisis. I wouldn't really say that was a lack of security, more of just misappropriation of funds and just strictly just stealing. Really, that's really what it was. They were just using people's funds and building a huge empire, and then it just collapsed because it was a house of cards. Yeah, so to give a little leeway, or to give a little explanation, there was a company called FTX. They also owned a stable coin, which was one of the biggest stable coins in the world. No, they didn't. I think they were about to put out a stable coin. So that wasn't even on the market yet. They also have a subsidiary, which is Alameda Research. That was their trading. Yeah, so they had a lot of their assets that were in there, and but no, they were highly affiliated with Solana. Yeah, but didn't FTX had its own stablecoin token that also went under during this process?
I'm not sure. I thought that they were planning on releasing one, but it didn't actually.
I don't know if
released.
it was on the market, but I know that the funds that were appropriated for it ended up becoming liquidated, and their token became unpegged for that. But what had happened was FTX had a trading arm, Alameda Research, which they were taking customer funds and trading through Alameda, which is illegal.
Yeah.
Broad face, just illegal. You're not allowed to do that. And they ended up getting caught because their balance sheets and income statements didn't match up. And when this went out to the general public, it caused a massive crash in the market. And, we're now dealing with problems with people trusting the crypto space, wanting to get involved. We're seeing large-scale institutions still dealing with bankruptcies like Gemini and Circle and all of these companies that are now in this post-tsunami wave moment. And I feel like it just couldn't have gotten worse this year.
Yeah, it's a lot of distrust, and a lot of people already believe that crypto is a scam in general, and
yes.
it just makes it look even worse for the industry and sets it back, in like the average people that aren't really educated yet on it.
Yeah.
So, are you talking about UST and the Terra Luna collapse? Is that the stablecoin you were talking about?
No, that was before.
Yeah.
No, that was with
Do Kwon.
Luna. That was with Do Kwon. But no. Here, let me just look it up real quick. It was
Yeah, I'm almost positive they put out like maybe a white paper, and they had a plan to do it, but it never came to fruition.
Yeah, regardless, the funds had got liquidated at that point, but
it's still there's still he still has the money.
Oh yeah,
and it's like they deny that. Yeah, but the
hackers took it.
No, there's a wallet out there that has all the money. It's in Bitcoin, and it's just sitting there. It's moved fund.
No, the U.S. government actually has. After that happened, the U.S. government took custody of that, and it was funny because I remember the Federal Reserve a couple months before saying we'll never have Bitcoin on our balance sheet. And because they had to liquidate the assets of FTX in America, they ended up taking that wallet that's filled with Bitcoin and thus now own that Bitcoin in that wallet. So what they're going to do with it, what they should be doing with it
hold it as a reserve. Well, what they should be.
Well, they should be paying back the customers that lost money in FTX. And the messed up part is that they're not doing that.
They won't. They never do.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna. What historically is what they've done is held auctions. So they'd confiscate Bitcoin and then they would auction it off.
So that it could pay back the...
So whatever they're doing with the misappropriation of our tax dollars that they've been doing forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, who cares where it goes? It's all a numbers game anyway. They just print more of it. They're getting ready to print more again.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you that yet, but this whole bank collapse thing is just going in that direction.
Yeah, and then talk about this couldn't be a worse moment. So to move into the next crisis already. It's barely been 2 months since the fallout of FTX, and now we're seeing a central banking crisis in America with the fall of Silicon Valley Bank. So,
and that's what depegged USDC.
Circles, yeah,
because that's where a portion of their assets lie. So,
yep.
And that's about the percentage that it depegged also.
So to give them
of what their percentage of their holdings in that bank that they would possibly be losing is that's about the percentage of the holdings to the ratio of it dropping. So it was about on par to what the market should have been doing, and then they halted trading on all the major platforms, which I'm not a fan of at all.
It's been a nightmare, to say the least.
The free market's supposed to be free.
So, to give a little bit more information on that, just like you said, so Silicon Valley Bank was the owner of about $3 billion worth of assets for Circle's US dollar coin. And when, to give a little bit more information about Silicon Valley Bank, They are an extremely mismanaged bank in America and also home to some of the biggest and largest tech startups in the entire world.
And it's like Silicon Valley. 16th largest bank in the world or the U.S.? I'm not sure.
In the U.S.
In the U.S., it's massive.
The issue...
It's not a...
The issue with this is when their income statement and balance sheet, they found $43 billion that was unaccounted for. And when that was found out, on Thursday, they went into something called a voluntary liquidation. And how that works is when a bank has to liquidate its assets, it's going to liquidate the highest risk assets first. And in American banking standards, it's going to be cryptocurrency.
Absolutely.
So what ended up happening was Circle's US dollar coins assets, 3 billion of them was liquidated almost immediately. And on Friday, we saw US dollar coin unpegged to close to 85 cents.
87, yeah.
And man, when I looked at that, I honestly sold all of my assets right then. It was like a
you were holding stables, right?
So I'm a perpetual contract trader, and I like using margins. So I do that all through a stable coin.
Yeah, and
luckily I use luckily and unluckily, I use Tether rather than US dollar coin. Not because I think it's safer. I was expecting Tether to depeg way before US dollar coin. So I had a, for lack of better words, coming to Jesus moment where I was just like, I'm out right now. There, and if that's gonna happen to Circle, then no one's safe.
So did you cash out to fiat?
I cashed out to a US dollar.
Okay.
Yep. And until otherwise,
the smart move would have been to buy BTC.
Well, yeah, but now I'm worried more about rates screwed me on that. I don't even want to start on that.
Yeah.
But I was more worried about getting it off the exchange to begin with. And I posted a message on the Currencies network. I was like, get out. If you own USDC, get out. Within 5 hours of me making that post, Coinbase had halted all of their transactions, not only with US dollar coin, but with US dollars off their exchange as well. And I think that Coinbase they were already close to bankruptcy after FTX, so I could only imagine what they're going to be dealing with after this. This isn't a good spot for them.
Yeah, it's just them growing too fast, and they were basically living off the high of the bull market, this last major run.
Yeah.
And you look at all these huge advertisers, they're buying stadiums and everything. And like they're
Crypto.com.
Yeah, they're doing too much. They're just trying, and then like they're not factoring in the market cycles. They all knew that the bear market was going to come.
Yeah.
But like how are you going to stretch your funds that much to try and create this empire so quickly? Like off of customer funds, and so I'm just hoping hoping that they can just balance these other major companies can balance their sheets out and survive to this next bull run.
So beyond the DeFi platforms, do you have a most trusted exchange, or at least an exchange that you might push people towards, not financial advice, that if they were interested in getting started in this?
Yeah, I mean, I usually recommend Coinbase for anybody new to crypto because it's the most user friendly. I also like crypto.com a lot. Like the two main ones. There's other good ones out there.
So you're not a Binance guy?
I mean, I've had a Binance account since 2017, like the original Binance.
Yeah. That's not available in the U.S.
Yeah,
it's Binance U.S. for the U.S.
VPN.
Unless you have an offshore trading accnt.
No, but yeah, I can't
suggest a VPN.
Yeah, but. I mean, there's ways around things.
Yeah.
But there is Binance US. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not a bad platform. I just personally don't use it too often.
I would agree it's more complicated than Coinbase for sure, or Coinbase Pro for that matter.
And they also have like a lot of strict rules with withdrawing your funds. Like if you put capital in, you got to wait a week.
10 days or 10 days.
10 days, yeah. So I like to be able to, if I'm putting new capital in, it's usually I might be purchasing something.
Coinbase is the more solid. Yeah.
Crypto.com also. You can withdraw.
I honestly haven't used Crypto.com, so I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, definitely. And then you could put, you can if you're not using large sums of money, if it's a few $100 or something like that, and you're going to buy an NFT
dollar
or
cost
something.
averaging.
You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to buy an NFT,
yeah,
right, and I wanted to put new capital in, I can buy it, withdraw it right then as soon as I buy it, take it off, send it there, purchase whatever I was going to purchase.
True.
Instead of waiting 10 days for something. I'm not,
No, I get it. So how do you feel about if you buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, you can't necessarily self-custody it? Do you know about that?
No. What do you mean? On Coinbase, you're saying?
On Coinbase, if you self-custody your coin, it stays on their blockchain. It's a FDIC factor that.
No, how can that be possible? That's not. Once it goes to your wallet, it's in your wallet. It can't be.
From what I've heard, they can still trace it back to their blockchain, and if need be, they can get that and pay you out.
On what chain? Solana? not with. They can't. No, they can't reverse transactions on the blockchain. Not from something like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the strongest computing network on Earth. You can't. The only way you can do that is with a 51% attack to reverse transactions.
I keep hearing this myth that if you buy from Coinbase, you can't self-custody due to a blockchain factor that is programmed into the Coinbase system.
No, because once it hits your wallet, it's all that's out the window. It's on chain in your wallet, so they can't. They definitely have you KYC'd. They know who you are.
That's
they know who you are, and they would the government could track you down, and then
that's what I mean, but.
They could hold you reliable for funds. Yeah, exactly. They can hold you accountable for whatever funds and, tax you on it or anything like that. But they can't actually physically take it from you. So especially if you have your seed phrase in your mind and it's not on paper.
Yeah.
They, like all these people that say, oh, Bitcoin was hacked or we recovered all this money that was stolen in Bitcoin. They didn't go in and find somebody's seed phrase. I mean, they didn't.
No, yeah.
They literally stored it. They stored it in their cloud. Went in and then it was right there. Like, oh, okay, thank you very much. Like they didn't hack Bitcoin.
No,
no one has ever hacked Bitcoin to you can't just go in and defeat the blockchain and then steal transactions.
Do you want to talk about the 51% module of Bitcoin a little bit?
Well, it's with any blockchain. It's a 51. If somebody controls 51% or more of the hash rate or the computing power of any blockchain, they can cause malicious activity. They can reverse transactions. They can, they can say that things are legit when they're not.
So how possible is that for, let's say, Bitcoin for that to be?
Present. It's very unlikely. It was a little scary whenever China held. I think they were like 60%, and
of the hash rate. Right?
Of the hash rate.
Yeah.
And that's not. It's like they're businesses that are mining companies.
You want to explain a little to the newcomers what that or how that works?
So yeah, they're just these corporations that have these warehouses with these strong computers chained together that are solving a math problem essentially, and the
math problem is the transaction.
Yeah, the transactions, and they're fighting for the block reward of Bitcoin. So basically, if they control 51%, they can do malicious harm. But with China holding, I'm saying China as a whole, all these corporations. With them having a regime government, they could just go in and seize all these companies because no one is truly free in China to. So China one day could go in and say all of these companies that are mining cryptocurrency, we're now taking over.
Yeah,
and then they could have done a coordinated attack. That was the scary part of it. So, or with any kind of country or something like that can control that. For the most part, it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
But unless you had something like a government that goes in, first of all, it would have to be in that one area, in that one country, which it was.
Since then, China has banned Bitcoin mining. So
yes, but I believe that they're back at
it's the 16th time they've done it.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
I believe that they're back at a high rate of high percentage.
Let's look up the hash rate. Yeah. Nah, they're not. That's 2022. I was about to say. Can we do newest? Last week. Let's check it.
Yeah.
Like 21%.
It's better than being close to 50. You know, so I mean that's still like it's decentralized. So it's all over the world, and it's not like you're seeing US and you're seeing China, but these aren't the governments that are running them.
Yeah.
It's the people. And that's what's beautiful about crypto.
So I have a question for you, and something that's kind of been getting on my nerves is the fact that Ethereum, the blockchain, is owned by 30% of the blockchain is owned by Coinbase and another company. How do you feel about that? Like, because that doesn't sound too decentralized.
It's not
with me.
It's not decentralized. It's not, and it's going to continue with this as long as these venture capitalists are continuing to invest into these cryptos, and I mean they're always going to say that it's the most decentralized and it's the most used, and it's the first smart contract platform to go to market, and that's why it has the most TVL.
Proof of stake too.
Well, it's not actually.
Well, not first,
it's still.
I'm saying with that being on the horizon, it's another interesting factor that
because anybody that's staked is still locked. They can't even if you staked your first of all, the barrier of entry is 32 Ethereum, and Ethereum is $1,600 a piece.
I owned a node for a little bit.
Yeah. So it's the barrier to entry for you to be able to stake your own coins is extremely high for the regular citizen. You know, so whereas there's plenty of other blockchains out there that you don't need. There's no specific amount, and you can put $100 in and start staking, and securing the network. We were talking to Greg about
that the other day.
What's that?
We were talking to Greg about that the other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his what was it? His Floki. Before this last pump, he was down like 800 or 900 on that transaction, on top of what he had already told us at the networking event. But it has been some tragic days in the last week. But you had mentioned NFTs before, and that's definitely a subject that I wanted to get more information on because I'm not too privy to that side of the blockchain. Okay. So what is an NFT for our new users?
An NFT is a non-fungible token.
And what kind of utilities does a non-fungible token have in our space?
So first off, we want to talk about what something that's fungible is and what something that's non-fungible. So something that's fungible is a US dollar. So if I give you $100 bill and you say you're going to pay me back in a week, and you give me 100 ones, I might not be happy about it, but it's still fungible. It's the exact same thing.
And our ledger is balanced.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Something that's non-fungible would be concert tickets. So we go to the same show, and I have backstage passes, and you have lawn seats. They're non-fungible.
Yep.
So I would not trade you mine for yours.
Yep.
For any reason, because I'm going to be backstage, and you're going to be out there with a towel.
Or even with general admission seats, if there's actual seating, there's still a difference.
So with an NFT, they're all different. Even if, like, say it's a JPEG picture of an art piece that there's 100 editions of the same exact picture. Mm-hmm. Each one of those are assigned a digital number. So you'll have 001, which would be worth more money because it's the first.
Yep.
Sometimes people seek after number 27 because that's
their favorite number.
That's their favorite number, and then that'll put more value on it. And they're going to pay more because they want to collect every NFT they collect. They collect number 27.
Yep.
There's just different, collectors that are into weird things like that bring value up on things. So with every NFT, every token is its own thing.
I am still on the border for the art side of this. So I love the idea of the achievements NFT that you were telling me last week. I keep forgetting the name.
Are you talking about POAPs?
Yes, POAPs.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, there's different ones for achievements, and then POAPs are they are.
You want to just tell the different kinds of NFT?
Yeah, well, I mean, a POAP is a project it's called Proof of Attendance Protocol. So it's basically like documenting your life on the blockchain. So you can, it's like if you attend an event, it's just like a badge that you get from the event, and then it's just there on chain forever. And they can be sold also. It's more of a personal thing. Mm-hmm. It's just like, and then you can also see on chain like who else was there. You click and then you go to their wallet, and you're like, oh man, this guy was at NFT Philly with me.
Miami Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh man, I met him here, and he's been to all these other events with me, and And it's like, I give one out when I meet people personally. So basically, if I shake your hand at an event,
I got yours.
Yeah. So and then I give you my personal one, or if I do an event, then I give one out at my events that I do.
Now, how much does it take to mint one of those?
It's free. Actually,
are they free?
Yeah. It's on.
I'm sure there are ones that.
Yeah, it's on Gnosis. Gnosis chain, which is EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine.
Spell that for anybody that's looking.
I'm not. Yeah, it's GN. But it's formerly XDAI. XDAI is still the
GNOSIS. Gnosis.
Yeah. So it's an Ethereum virtual machine. So it's still built off
the Ethereum blockchain.
Exactly.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, there are great projects, and I'll give a shout out to Early Birds. Good friend of mine, Chris, owns that, and he's got a phenomenal community. Definitely check them out. You want to give it I know you're a big NFT. You want to give any shout outs right now?
Yeah, Tribe Kawaka.
Yeah. All right. Part of the Philly crew, or
it's South Jersey. It's all over the world, but I mean, some of the founders are from Burlington County.
Gotcha. And NJ, shout out, represent.
Goat Tribe.
Go Tribe. All right.
On Cardano.
Another great blockchain.
My favorite project is not to be shilling stuff, but
come on.
My favorite project is book.io.
And what's that about?
It's books on the blockchain. So
I love that.
Yeah, so they're releasing a lot of classic books and low mintage, and they're also putting out current authors, bestsellers, and they're minting. They're about like 60 something books in now, and it's so they're encrypted, so you need to be able to unlock it. So like you can't just go to my wallet and then read my book.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to unlock it, go in through their platform. They're building it. They just released a beta for the Android store. I think the Apple one is coming really soon. And there's going to be tools just like you would read on any other Kindle platform or something like that. What the beauty of it is that it can't ever, once it's there and you own it, it can't ever be taken away or altered. And that's the biggest thing, because there's something that's going on right now, cancel culture. They're actually going in, like if you own books on Amazon, I think it is.
Yeah. I've had problems publishing my
own. If you purchase these books, they literally just went, like a week or two ago, they went in and just edited out some of these classic works that they don't agree with. And they're literally changing history.
That doesn't surprise me.
They're changing the books. And that doesn't sit right with me at all.
I agree completely.
And I mean, whatever your opinion is about it, it doesn't matter. That person wrote that book in that time. And that's what they published. It was originally published at that. So, to me, it's the same as Hitler burning books. You know what I mean? They're just changing history. And that changes that. Once it's minted on the blockchain, you can't ever burn it. You can't ever alter it. It's there forever. And they also do AI generated art for the covers. And they do one of ones. So you could pull like a really rare one of that book. Like I just minted they're minting on 3 different chains now. So it's mostly a Cardano project. They're on Ethereum and on Polygon now. And I minted The Great Gatsby Was it 2 days ago?
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so
I would mean Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky.
okay, not there
That's
yet.
a true.
You can
true
contact them.
masterpiece,
You can
but-
contact them.
Yeah, I'll hit him up, but that'd probably be a.
But their goal is to put out every book. It's very ambitious to put out every book in existence to be on the blockchain.
I love that though.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful. To me, it's a beautiful. Even if you're not a huge reader or you know what I mean, big into literature, it's just a beautiful movement.
I couldn't agree more, and more people should read at that. I mean, make reading sexy again, honestly. But yeah, moving back. So going back to your company, Up2SpeedCrypto, what do you think are some important practices that beyond self-custody that people should start to look into more that are interested in understanding the crypto space?
Well, the first thing I would say is definitely read all of your transactions before you sign them. So
100%.
so that people are just in a habit of click, click. They're just purchasing something, click, click, click. They just go through the motions and they don't read, and then they get their wallet drained because you literally just signed this transaction saying take all my money. Because if they'll have a site that's completely replicated to the site that it might be one letter off or something, and it'll be an exact clone of it. It'll say here, sign this
So you're
transaction.
talking about like scam sites.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff.
But it'll emulate the exact site that you're trying to be at. You know, you could go to you're trying to go to Uniswap, and then they'll have a fake Uniswap that's spelled
It'll
a little
be like
different.
UNSwap
or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be like .io or .com or something. It's not the regular.
Yeah.
You know, they'll switch it or something. They'll gain access to that domain, and then they'll get you. You'll think you're doing whatever, and then it'll say you have permission to sell all of my. Take all of my ETH.
So I've never actually seen sites like that, but how often would you say people run into that in the crypto space?
I mean, there's always something there. There's always something live. I mean, where it's at, what site it is, there's constantly something going on like that.
Gotcha. So any other tips?
Yeah, don't ever send people money.
Well, that goes far outside of cryptocurrency.
Well, I mean, like no, like the send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 2 back. That's a huge scam that
great.
people fall for all the time. It's the most common scam. Scam.
It just blows my mind.
Because people are greedy and they think that they feed off of people's greed. Send me 0.1 Bitcoin and I'll send you 0.5 back. It's a great idea. It's a great investment. I mean, it would be great if it was real. If it was real, it would be amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
That's why people fall for it. They get in, and they don't know anything, and they're like, "Oh,
I got a question for you on that note, because I definitely feel this way about a lot of the finance sector. But do you feel like personal finance and cryptocurrency is for everyone?
I think it should be.
I think that finance in the world should be for everyone, but I also know people that no matter what you do, they will have horrible money management practices.
Absolutely.
If you try to teach them anything. And that's why I have to ask this very important question is like, in personal finance in general, I don't think that everybody should actually step up and take that into their own custody. And cryptocurrency just is a whole other spectrum of that at the end of the day.
I think the U.S. government is going to ease that a bit when they release the CBDC. They're going to make it easy.
Let's tell people what a CBDC is.
Central bank digital currency.
Gotcha.
And that's what the U.S. dollar is going to be.
Yes, it will be.
It's not if.
It's when.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A digitalized dollar put out most likely by the Federal Reserve that will quite literally digitalize every single one of your transactions beyond paper, but the goal is over the next several decades, I'm sure, to get the paper out of the mess, for sure. By accounting standards, it sounds great because it'll be a way that we can actually track,
Well, that's also the problem,
yeah,
too.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. You have no privacy.
So...
And everything is taxed.
There are
it's just another stronghold that they'll have on you to monitor every transaction and every taxable event
To give
possible.
a great description right now, China has a central bank digital currency alongside a digital ID, alongside facial recognition systems.
And alongside you do something wrong, we turn you off.
So there's right now one of the biggest problems with people that are speaking out to policies in China that they don't like. They are literally quite ending these people's financial lives at the switch of a button, where they can't go buy the goods and services they need because their accounts are shut down, or let's say they commit a crime and a fine is involved. That fine is immediately taken out upon the, judgment of, or if there is even judgment, it's just automatically taken out. There's no control that you get to say, oh, I'll pay this amount in a certain amount of time or anything like that. It's just done instantly. If you hop a turnstile at the train station and they see your facial recognition, they will charge your account. And these are real cases of
Big Brother.
Of actual events. Now, are we saying that America is going to get to that severe of a point of it? Let's hope not, but it's definitely possible. And that's why people like me and you are starting our platforms and trying to advise or make them aware, at least, of these are coming. It's not a sense of if, or like if the technology's there. Like, there were rumors the last few years that Ripple was helping the Federal Reserve actually make their CBDC, or at least members of the project. So,
I mean, it's possible that the CBDC could be a stablecoin that's already out there. Like, it could be, even though it just depegged, it could be USDC. It could implement that, but I would kind of lean.
It doesn't.
I would kind of lean towards that it wouldn't be, because I would think that they would create their own blockchain.
They would create their own blockchain.
Yeah,
100%.
because that way they can draw back or do whatever they want. They have complete control, and they'll just be able to continue to print.
Yeah,
just add more for
anything for sure. So I mean, how do you feel about Circle's bank, Signature Bank, now not being the minter anymore? Did you hear about that? So Signature Bank was the company that minted Circle's USDC.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, they backed out and they're no longer going to be minting it. So where does Circle go from here with one of the largest stablecoins in the world? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, it's hard to say. They're almost back to their peg, but they still got a lot of things to figure out. There's a lot of questions to be answered, and there's a lot of. Yeah, I mean, somebody will step in if they're stepping out. Somebody will love to fill those shoes.
I'm sure, yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just goes back to the whole accounting principles of 2023 and just central banks seeming to not have any to actually keep their banks afloat. So, what other organizations in the crypto space would you like to give a shout out to? Because, again, we're all about just trying to get that grassroots community back.
Decentralized platforms is what I would like to shout out. Nothing specific, but just something that's run on chain. Not putting your money, if you're going to be investing into trying to earn yield on your money or something, then do it decentralized. Don't be putting it on crypto.com and earning yield from you lending it to them. Because we just watched that with FTX. People having all their money there and it being loaned out and all that, and now it's all gone because.
Same thing with Gemini.
Yeah,
Gemini was another huge.
So there's plenty of DeFi out there that you can earn yield on money, and DeFi is decentralized finance compared to centralized finance is what the banking system is.
Yep.
So.
How about local groups or organizations that you go to in person that are also pushing the word?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an active member with DeFi Philly. I spoke at their last conference. I'll be speaking at it again. I'll be doing another presentation. It's Independence Day 2.0. So it's like the week of 4th of July.
Cool.
And
I'll have to come check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great. It was last year was one day. They're gonna do 2 this year. 2 days this year.
Dope.
Also an active member of NFT Philly. And I have my own group, Burlington County Crypto Meetup.
And that's at a Mount Holly, correct?
Yeah. At Trainwreck Distillery.
We got to come check that out. We will. We'll get there.
Yeah. And then your group.
Yeah. How do you like it so far?
Yeah, it's been good. It's gone through some changes, but it's getting better. It's
We're just trying to, grow the grassroots culture, and, we're not crypto specific, but at the same time, if more people in the group want to get involved in that, we're more than happy to, push that pathway forward for sure. So, I can't thank you enough for coming over, and I feel like we hit on all of the major topics. So, if anybody wants to check you out on social media, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at speed_crypto. On IG, Up2SpeedCrypto. I'm everywhere. It's just Up2SpeedCrypto.com.
Gotcha. And
all the links are there.
We'll post all the links in the video description. And Jeff, again, thank you so much for coming over.
Absolutely.
We're looking to, help push your network forward in the future. Thank you for coming out to the networking events, and we'll see you guys next time. You're always welcome back, by the way.
Sounds good.